Well, the Rockies won't be home for long. Just 3 ball games in interleague play against the Seattle Mariners. And the Rockies have struggled mightily against the American League this year. Just 2-12. Trying to improve upon that over the next 3 days. And the Rockies will have Eddie Butler, as we were just talking about, making this start tonight against the Seattle Mariners. And Eddie may have faced some of these guys in spring training. Seattle also in the Cactus League. And Jose Reyes making his Colorado Rockies home debut. Reyes, of course, has played here many times in the past as a member of the Mets and the Marlins. But first time he's wearing purple. And he's out at shortstop getting ready to go. Well, most of the clouds that were here in the afternoon have cleared on out. And it's a most pleasant early evening. And that young man has been in the big leagues for just a few days. His name is Ketel Marte. He's playing center field, though his natural position is shortstop. Brad Miller currently is playing shortstop, so Marte out in center field. He was a participant in the Futures game earlier in the season. Here the Mariners of Lloyd McClendon. They'll have Kyle Seager batting second. Nelson Cruz in his first year in the Pacific Northwest having a gorgeous year. .317 with 29 home runs. By the way, he's hitting 13 straight. Robbie Cano played yesterday. He had taken a couple of days off with an abdominal strain. Seth Smith, the former Rocky, Jesus Montero, Miller, Zunino, and Felix Hernandez. So we're ready to go, and we're happy you're with us as well. Eddie Butler making his 14th start of the year, and the first pitch is in there for a strike on Marte. This kid can run. He's a switch hitter. And Nolan Arenado, even though there's 1 strike, is still in on the grass against Marte.
I called another scout that has worked and scouted Seattle, and this kid's got plus speed from the left side, 4 flat up the line at first base. Normally a second shortstop, get very few ball games out in center field, so it'll be interesting how he handles the Ponderosa.
Well, that's something we're going to talk about when Seattle goes out on defense, because that kid played only 4 games in center field in Tacoma. And this is bounced to second. DJ takes a top spin hop and flips over to Ben Paulson, 1 out. Here's the Rockies defensively. Kyle Parker's getting another start in left field. He started there yesterday in St. Louis. Charlie Blackmon in center. Cargo is in right. Nolan Arenado, Jose Reyes on the left side. LeMahieu and Paulson right side. Nick Hundley with the gear on. Mariners were in Minnesota the last 4 days. They won 4-1 yesterday in extra innings. They split that 4-game set with the Twins. They've been a most inconsistent team this year. In fact, they've not won more than 3 straight all year. Kyle Seager's little brother is the #1 prospect. Shortstop with the Dodgers.
I got a chance to watch him in Tulsa, and let me tell you what, he's close to major league ready. He is really good.
Anybody who called the Dodgers around the trade deadline knew not to ask for Seager.
Wasn't going to happen. They got a left-handed pitcher. His name escapes me right now. He's 20 years old in Double-A, dominating.
Yeah, those 2 guys were untouchables. Here's the 2-1 on Seager, and he hits this ball well to center field. Charlie going back, leaps, can't catch it. And Seager's going to end up with a double. I thought that ball was hit well off the bat. Charlie cruised back, and that thing just carried over his head.
A lot of backspin on the baseball, and that's one thing that happens when you get backspin. You get a lot of carry, and that's what Seager did on this pitch from Eddie Butler. And then Charlie tried to take the angle on the baseball. You'll see it on the Subaru Super Mode, just out of the reach of the glove. Charlie gave it valiant effort, but not able to get there. Yeah, you talked about Cruz. He's coming to the plate now. He's done everything I think they expected him to do, and he's playing a lot more in the field. A lot of guys had talked about maybe DHing. Yeah, he's out in right field an awful lot. 6th in average, 5th in home runs, 9th in RBIs.
He's hit a home run in 3 straight, and he chops this one foul. There's home runs since 2009. He's 4th on that list. Big boys on that list. And he's hit 25 plus, 3 different teams. Texas 2 years ago, Baltimore last year, and now up in Seattle. And most of the home runs have come out on the road. 22 of the 29 out on the road. And time was called. Man, that is really late.
And really lucky, because DJ had gone to the bag. Now you've thrown the pitch. He saw the pitch, which was a slider on an 0-1 count. Do you go back to that as a pitcher, or do you try to take something else?
Cruz takes
See,
a big swipe at it. It's 0-2.
But he went to that slider on an 0-1 count, and you don't go back to that same pitch. You got to look at it pretty good when he called timeout. So he goes 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Cruz has been a good 2-strike hitter this year. In fact, he has 53 2-strike hits, which is 5th in baseball. Kinsler's the leader in that department. It looked like he went. Wow, that was pretty close. 1 and 2. They checked it out quickly with Will Little at first.
Yeah, he locked it up pretty good. I mean, the appearance, because big, strong guys, when they swing, look like they go around. Yeah, I thought he might have held up. Obviously, Jerry and his partner, Will Little, felt the same way.
Slider misses, and it's 2 and 2. Ground ball to third. Nolan's got it. And he'll throw out Cruz. Intentionally kept that ball low with Ben Paulson. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Robbie Cano.
The sun's already starting to set a little bit, but you still have some shadows to deal with, and over at first base around the bag appears to be pretty mild compared to what it usually can be. Give it another 10-15 minutes. Sets a little bit farther, then it gets a little more troublesome for the first baseman.
And Robbie Cano's coming off a big July. He struggled in April and May. Really struggled in April and May.
Well, you talked about the abdominal strain, and I talked downstairs in their locker room today. It hurts more to run than it does to swing the bat or throw the ball. So a lot of times, you know, players, or not players, but fans have gotten on him sometimes because they don't feel like he's running as hard. So there is a reason why in tonight's ball game, if he hits a ground ball in the middle of the infield, don't expect him to sprint it out. Lloyd doesn't want to lose him out of McClendon, doesn't want to lose him out of his lineup.
1-0, pulled into right field, a base hit, and Seager's going to score, and it's 1-0. So Robbie Cano with his 44th RBI, and Seattle gets a quick jump on Eddie Butler. This is a team historically, against the Rockies at least, that has done a great job in inning number 1.
I see the slider spin on the ball, but you don't see a lot of break on the slider. But to a left-hander, if you don't get that in on his back foot, there's a pretty good chance he's going to do this. He'll be able to pull it through the hole on the right side.
So Cano at first with 2 outs, and Seth Smith at the plate. Familiar territory for Seth, and he takes a strike. Check this out. The Mariners and Rockies all time. The Mariners have owned the first inning. They've hit 388 in the first inning against the Rockies, and Colorado's hit just 235. After that, the Rockies have the edge. But 41-9 in first inning runs. It's now 42-9. Obviously, the Rockies haven't hit yet. Actually, you know what? We went ahead and updated that, so it is 41-9. And this is a team that has struggled to score this year. They've been outscored considerably this year in the first couple of innings. Rockies put the shift on for Smith. Here's the 1-1. 1-2 on Seth.
Seattle this year 34-15 when they score first.
They're just a game under 500, Frage, out on the road. They've struggled at Safeco this year. They come in 48 and 58. They've been a better road team. One, two. It's 2-2. Smith, 14 career games against the team he came up with, the .375 hitter with 4 home runs. Seth has carved out quite a career because he brings other skills, but his one main skill he brings to the park every day is he can hit. He's an adequate outfielder. He's obviously not a burner on the bases, but he's always been able to swing it. And he produces a lot of extra base hits. Big doubles guy, and he's going to hit some home runs. Rocky saw him quite a bit last year when he was playing for the Padres. Product to Ole Miss, second-round pick originally of the Rockies at Ole Miss. Still makes his home with his family in the Jackson, Mississippi area. It's 3-2. You get movement at first with Cano. Again, it's one of those innings, George, with Eddie Butler, where it's 20+ pitches.
And again, it's all for me. Just watching, the stuff's great. Just go ahead and trust your stuff.
Well, after being ahead of Smith, he loses him. And now they're 2 on for Jesus Montero, who's been on a tear. Just came back to the big leagues a few days ago. This is a mountain of a man. When the Yankees traded him to Seattle, he was one of the elite prospects in baseball. He was a catcher then. He struggled behind the plate. He doesn't catch anymore. He's a first baseman DH. And it's kind of loosened the load on him. The other thing he did, and he needed to do, 2 years ago he came to spring training at 280. He has shaved 40 pounds off the body.
Well, he can swing the bat. That's the one thing he does really well. Not behind the plate, first base in the DH, and he swings it here.
Yep, that's in the gap. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. The trail runner, Smith, he's going to get a green light. Seth's going to score easily. And Seattle doing what they did the last time they visited Coors Field, scoring early and often. 3-0 Seattle.
2 big runs with 2 outs. So that's the tough part of it. Steve Foster is going to get a trip to the mound now, as Brad Miller waits to come up after the double by Montero. You take a look at the pitch on the Subaru Supermo. What part is it? It's the sinker trying to work to the bottom half of the zone, and it just stayed up. I watched a lot of video and a lot of games of Montero when he was swinging the bat in AAA. And I'm telling you, he could take it to all fields. And you're right, shedding the weight, getting in better health. They told him what he needed to do to get here. Look at had a tough time breathing out a second now.
Brad Miller, the shortstop, at the plate.
Yeah, he's really struggled out on the road. 183 average on the road for Miller.
Here's the 1-0 to Miller, and that's in the dirt. 2-0. I was talking about a 20-pitch inning. Eddie's going to work this thing into a 30-pitch first inning. He's not careful. He's at 25. Listen, you know it's a 9-inning affair, George, but you're also aware of who you're facing.
Well, again, and Eddie even talked to me a little bit about it the last time. You can't sit here and try to pitch in fear. You got to pitch ahead, try to work counts, try to get after guys. Throw strikes. As a manager, you want to see your best effort. You want to see pound the strike zone. If you get beat, you get beat. But walking people, falling behind 2-1, 3-1 counts of major league hitters doesn't do any good. It makes it tough on Walt Weiss, tough on your bullpen.
And the 3-1 is lobbed out to left center field, and that's going to score another run. It's 4-0 as Montero scores. 34th RBI for Brad Miller. This has turned into a disastrous first frame for Eddie Butler.
4 hits and a walk. Everybody reached base, has scored with the exception of Miller, and he's at first with 2 outs, and they are hitting Zunino, their catcher, their 8-hole hitters up now. Crazy. Well, now to look at the pitch. When you're behind in the count, you're forced to throw the ball over the plate. Not particularly this ball is hit hard, but it's a base hit and it's elevated.
George, you made the point off the top of the broadcast. Zunino swings and misses. Butler has to get himself in pitcher counts. Well, there was a first pitch swing obviously with Montero, but he fell behind Brad Miller. He's been behind in a number of counts, and it's tough to work that way at this level and have success. This is in the air to left field. Kyle Parker's out there. He's got it, and finally the Rockies can get to the dugout, but they have work to do. Down 4-0. Felix Hernandez on the mound for Seattle. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your hometown Toyota stores. Let's go places. By Office Liquidators, offering Colorado's largest selection and lowest prices for new, used, and refurbished office furniture. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. A rough first inning, to say the least, for Eddie Butler. He gives up 4 runs on 4 hits, and now the Rockies will have to battle against King Felix, 29-year-old Felix Hernandez, who made his big league debut 10 years ago at the age of 19. Here's the Southwest batting order tonight for Walt Weiss. Charlie will lead things off, leading the National League in RBIs atop the lineup with 44. Jose Reyes next, and Arenado, Cargo, DJ LeMahieu, Ben Paulson, Nick Hundley, Kyle Parker, and Butler. First pitch is in there for a strike from Felix Hernandez.
It's pretty special. You look at the American League, you start to look at pitchers with most wins. Keuchel and McHugh, Cole McHugh, used pitched for the Rockies. Dallas Keuchel are both 13-5. Hernandez 12-6 on the year. An earned run average of 3.02. A lot of strikeouts, not many walks. He does give up a few home runs, not many. 137 innings pitched. Fastball, curveball, changeup, He's ahead of Charlie Blackmon, 1-2. Second on all-time wins at the Mariners. Jamie Moyer, the former Rocky, 145 and 87. Felix is 137 and 98. Randy Johnson, 130.
He's now made the most starts, though, in Mariners history. Moved ahead of Jamie. Unless Jamie comes out of retirement, you never know.
Now he's going to the Hall of Fame with the Seattle Mariners. They're going to have a little bobblehead night for Jamie. He's going to go into the Mariners Hall of Fame.
That misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You want more good news, Drew? Felix Hernandez, when given 4 runs or more in a ball game, 92 and 6.
You didn't have to tell me that.
I said I just thought I'd throw out some more good news for you.
This ball is roped to right center field. That's a great start. Charlie Blackmon digging a second. And Blackmon picking up where he left off in that St. Louis series.
You want a slugfest? We'll give you a slugfest. You're at Coors Field. Last start for Hernandez, 6 2/3, 12 hits, 7 earned runs.
That was against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Previous 5, 2-1, 109. Charlie's getting it started right for the Rockies with this double into right center field. Felix watching. That's another one of those curveballs that forgot to curve. And a lot of guys that have a power curveball, they come in trying to throw it their normal 78 to 82 miles an hour, and it has a tendency to flatten out.
Jose Reyes has some experience against Felix Hernandez. He's 6 for 12, including a home run against Hernandez. Nick Hundley has the most at-bats of anybody in the lineup against Hernandez. He's faced him 14 times with a couple of hits. Reyes, sharp ground ball past Robbie Cano. Here comes Blackmon, and the Rockies with a quick counter punch. It's 4-1. Jose Reyes in his first Rockies home at bat produces an RBI single.
I know you've got those split statistics. I like to stick with one. American League, National League, I don't care. It's the big leagues. 35th RBI for Reyes. He's got 16 stolen bases, too. We'll see how Felix handles that. Yeah, ball scooped right by Cano out at second base.
And again, his range is limited a little bit with that abdominal strain. That ball was smoked. And now Jose, who can run still, is at first base. 4-1 the score, and Arenado's at the plate. Swing by Nolan. Walt flipped things around, put Arenado in the 3 spot and Cargo in the 4 spot today. Cargo pinch hit yesterday, produced a double late in that ball game. A 3-2 walk-off loss in St. Louis in the bottom of the 9th inning.
That makes a lot of sense to me too. As hot as Cargo has been with the bat, so you put Arenado in front. They don't want to have 2 men on base when Cargo comes up. They'd rather have 1. So you may see a few more fastballs than what you would normally see, instead of getting pitched around because of having Cargo behind you.
Try to heat Nolan up again.
It works.
So Hernandez just holding the baseball. Nolan hitting 215 games since the break. The Rockies just 5-10 since the All-Star festivities. There goes Reyes, and it's fouled off.
Zunino in a year has thrown out 20 of 53 would-be base stealers.
Good percentage.
He's got a very good arm. 4 pass balls. What kind of jumped out at me? 41 wild pitches compared to Hundley's 23 wild pitches.
A lot of those may be down in that bullpen, George, where their bullpen was just done an about-face from a year ago. One of the best bullpens in baseball last year when they won 87 games, and this year it's been a disaster.
It has not been good. And matter of fact, Carson Smith has taken over the closer's role now for their club. He's got 9. Fernando Rodney more in the 8th inning now.
Boy, that bounced up there.
How about that pick?
Zunino, just good fortune to come up with it.
Wow. This ball, as easily as he picked it on the changeup, it could have easily ended up off the screen.
That hit the very heel of Zunino's catcher's glove. 2-2. Reyes at first, a run in, nobody out. Rockies down 4-1. Jose off again. This ball is playable and right. Let's glance at Seattle defensively. This could be an issue in this game. Seth Smith, adequate outfielder, doesn't run great. Marte runs really well, but he's more of an infielder. And Nelson Cruz, DH/right fielder. So you have a lot of ground to cover with two guys that don't run great and one guy that's very inexperienced. And Marte is playing very, very deep, which a lot of inexperienced outfielders do.
And for the reason they come in on the ball better than they can go back on the ball.
Cargo's first career at bat, actually I should say his fourth career at bat against Hernandez. He's 0 for 3. Cargo came up with the Oakland A's, same division as Seattle. And congratulations to Cargo, awarded before the game National League Player of the Month in July. Well deserved.
Don't think there was a whole lot of doubt.
With the numbers he put up. And Cargo hits this ball to center field. And standing out there and making the catch is Marte. 2 outs. That'll bring up LeMahieu. Who wants tacos? When the Rockies score 7 or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell.
DJ, pretty good road trip. 13 of 27 on the road trip at 481. Had 7 runs.
DJ takes a strike.
King Felix doing an awful lot of variations on the mound with Reyes at first base. He's been quick pitched a little bit, a little higher leg kick, hold, step off, trying to disrupt some of his rhythm and timing at first base. Drew, did you tell him his hat's crooked yet?
He's got the Fernando Rodney thing going. Not quite as dramatic, but he always does that. He has it offset a little bit.
That's so you can peek to first better.
How about Hernandez after losses the last couple of years? That's usually when you get the best Felix Hernandez. And this year, in his next start, he's given up just 2 runs in 5 games. There goes Jose, swung on and missed, and that'll end the inning. So the Rockies get a double from Blackmon and a base hit from Jose Reyes to produce a run. It's 4-1 as we go to the second.
innings in the first inning with 2 outs. It's all about his repertoire. Whenever I want to find out about a pitcher, I go to Michael McHenry, the Rockies catcher, and he talks a little bit about an important pitch for Eddie Butler.
The curve is the one pitch for him because it's hard to manipulate your changeup. You know, he throws an 88-mile changeup, he throws 94. You know, that changeup sometimes will be 90. It's hard to manipulate that pitch, but that curveball, you can really adjust. You see guys change speeds with it. You see guys throw at 80 miles an hour, and then next one they throw 70 miles an hour. Like Chad Bettis learned that this year, and it's been a game changer for him. And I think that's what's going to take Eddie to the next level.
George, you can talk more about that, but it's all about deception when you're pitching and that change of velocity from the different pitches. And maybe the curveball is something he can utilize more to do that.
Yeah, but if you haven't thrown one, it's harder, Mark. I mean, if you haven't worked on this, tough spot to break in a new pitch. I'm just going to tell you, the big league level is difficult. That's something that has to happen for me down at the development side of things. And when you start to work on that, I had a pitching coach, Al Widmeyer, who a long-time pitching consultant and pitching coach for the Toronto Blue Jays and Milwaukee Brewers. And he would tell the guys as young kids, you're going to throw 15 changeups. When do you want me to throw them? I don't care. You can throw them at the start of the game if you want to, but you're going to throw 15, and you're going to throw 15 curveballs. You're going to throw 15 sliders. You're going to learn to pitch here, so then when you get there, it's much easier for you to have the belief in that pitch and the confidence to go throw it in tough situations.
2-2 on a guy who loves to swing the bat. He's not great at it, but he loves to hit. That's Felix Hernandez. He has to go away. And then it's the first strikeout of the ball game for Butler. 1 out, and it'll bring up Ketel Marte. He had a bouncer to second, leading off the ball game. Four to 1 Seattle. The Mariners before today had been outscored 69-52 in the first inning, 54-27 in the second inning. In fact, they've been outscored in every inning with the exception of the 5th inning and the 6th inning. In the 6th inning, just by 1 run. Talking to Lloyd McClendon for a while before the ball game, and he was saying, really, people want to talk about our offense. We don't average a ton of runs, but they're not going to average a lot of runs playing at Safeco. But it comes down to the bullpen. They've blown 15 saves this year, and they went from one of the elite bullpens in baseball a year ago to unfortunately for them, a very poor one this year.
Yeah, it's been a tough time for him. Farquhar's one of the guys that was a mainstay a year ago. He's pitching in AAA right now. They bounced him down, brought him back. Wasn't the same. Walking too many people.
And that's an easy play for Ben Paulson. Let's take a look at the Seattle Mariners coaching staff. It's a good one. Edgar Martinez took over for Hojo. Howard Johnson was relocated to AA as the hitting instructor, and Edgar, who was probably the greatest DH ever, he's handling the hitters. Rick Waits is the pitching coach. Chris Woodard at first base, and our old friend Rich Donnelly, who's celebrating his 69th birthday today, is at third base. Trent Jewett's on the bench, and Cookie Rojas' son Mike Rojas is out in the bullpen. For Lloyd, this is his second stop after managing the Pittsburgh Pirates for a while. Lloyd's an intense guy, a very affable guy who has connections to Denver. Lloyd played in Denver and for a while was raising his family in Boulder. This ball is well hit right center field. Forget about it. Kyle Seager has hit his 16th home run, a no-doubter, and it's 5-1. So Seager a double and a home run.
Now take a look at it on the Subaru Supermo. It's the slider again. Mary threw a slider earlier and he dropped it out into right center field for a double. This time he drives it out of the ballpark into the Rockies bullpen. And unfortunately, another run charged to Eddie Butler. A little anger in that fastball, 96 miles an hour. It's a beautiful shot. I just wish it was an Oakland, a Colorado Rocky that hit it.
10th home run allowed by Butler. That pitch misses on Cruz. It's 1-1.
You ever notice how the trainer always goes sits by the guy that just hit a home run? Every time. See? Look. Yeah, I want to be on TV. It's every time they do it.
He's doing it here. Make sure he has enough oxygen. 2-1.
You know, Dusty Baker, when he was with the Reds, even the Giants, when they would come into town here, he would have Keith Schultz go and get oxygen tanks. Keep him down there. When a pitcher came in between innings, guy ran the bases, go get on the tank.
3-1. This one's going to leave the building also. Nelson Cruz has just hit his 30th. That is 4 games in a row that Cruz is homered. His 23rd road home run of the season. By far the most in baseball. That never got George more than about 18 feet off the ground.
And he hits it hard. I mean, these guys came in here at batting practice. They were having some fun swinging the bats, and unfortunately now they're having some fun on the expense of Eddie Butler. And that, boy, you just hate it, but that's just squared right up.
Robbie Cano, an RBI single to right last inning. Seattle up 6-1. As I mentioned, Cruz with 23 road home runs, most by far in baseball. Next, Nolan Arenado with 16, along with Teixeira and Trout. If you recall, George, it took a while for Nelson Cruz to earn a full-time starting status with the Texas Rangers.
They had a lot of guys over there. They had guys that were hitting the ball. They had speedy guys into the outfield. They had guys driving in runs, home runs. But once he earned it, he never gave it back wherever he's been. Bergman is up in the Rockies bullpen early in this game, just here in the top of the second inning, down 6-2, 6 hits given up by Eddie.
51 pitches in.
Long run.
And a good play by Kyle Parker. He did have a long run getting there in foul ground. Back-to-back home runs with 2 outs. Kyle Seager and Nelson Cruz, and Seattle's up 6-1. That man's Ben Paulson, and he is part of our big hit presented by Mako. Turn the car you drive into the car you love. Saturday night, talk about a big hit. Ben with a 2-run home run. He had a 3 RBI night on Saturday night at Busch Stadium. Paulson takes ball 1 against Felix Hernandez. Rockies got a run against Hernandez in the first. Blackman a double to right center. Jose Reyes a sharp single to right.
I'm sitting there reading this, and I'm like, this can't be right. This guy lost 4 in a row one time? No way. All the way, it was 2013, August the 17th through September the 2nd. He lost 4 in a row. He hasn't lost 2 straight since then.
Hard to believe, but how about that? That's solidly hit in center field. Hard turn by Paulson, and he'll head back to first base. A leadoff single for Ben, and that'll bring up Nick Hundley. Nick has faced Hernandez quite a bit, 2 for 14. You say, well, how could that be? Remember, and sometimes in Major League Baseball with interleague play, they had to do things that weren't natural, but they called them natural, like the natural rival for the Padres, the Seattle Mariners. Even though geographically they're not close. Just like now the Rockies have 2 quote-unquote natural rivals, the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros, and they flip-flop each year.
I think it'd be more like Kansas City Royals, but
well,
I get it.
Yeah, no, you would think. I'm with you. And there's some that make a whole lot of sense. This ball's well hit to center field. Going back is Marte, and he reaches up at the very top of the wall, and you could tell he was not comfortable, George. And again, he's a middle infielder.
Well, you know, the thing is, he's fading back, and Cruz is talking to him right now. But he's fading back on the ball, and he's watching the flight. He can feel his cleats change surfaces, and he doesn't know how close he is. And so you put your hand up, much like we watched Jason Hayward do yesterday in St. Louis. You put your hand up, and you realize, all right, I got a 36-inch length arm. If I hit that wall, I know I'm getting ready to crash into it, and still check the flight of the baseball. And it's hard. We've talked about this. Teams that never play at Coors Field, they come in, and if they don't go shag during batting practice or do some infield work during all of this, they can have trouble in this park.
Kyle Parker fouls that pitch off. Well, one good thing, the Rockies have looked very comfortable swinging the bat against King Felix so far.
Not fooling or intimidating anybody right now. Not to say that he can't and won't, but so far so good for the Rockies as far as swinging the bat against him.
When you think about it, Blackman squared a ball up, Reyes squared a ball up, Nolan flew out, Cargo hit the ball pretty well to center, Paulson sharp single, and Nick Hundley came within a couple of feet of hitting it out to dead center field. 0-2 on Parker. A strikeout at Kyle. 2 outs. That'll bring up Butler. As always, you can join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts and photos. Use Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Include the hashtag Toyota Talk. Rockies will play 6 games against Seattle this year. Second week of September, they'll be up in the Pacific Northwest to take on the Mariners. So many things to admire about the work of Felix Hernandez. Maybe the most notable is the sustained excellence, George. 9 straight years of at least 190 innings pitched. There's the 3rd out, and we'll go to the 3rd inning. Seattle leading 6-1. for Seattle. Seth Smith's going to lead it off. Eddie Butler gave up 4 in the first, 2 more in the second on a pair of solo home runs. Kyle Seager and Nelson Cruz. Time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag RMDataStrongFan. And we'll show a photo each night in our Root Sports broadcast.
I hope Eddie has a little smoother inning here. You don't ever want to go to your bullpen the first game of a series, even though you're here 3 days, even with an off day on Thursday. Try to have somewhat of a smoother inning. He'll start out with Seth Smith, who he walked in his first at bat.
Smith walked and scored in the first. And Seth, who came to Rockies stardom in that 2007 run to the World Series.
Yeah, he wasn't the only one. There was a bunch in that deal, but he really jumped out there swinging the bat late in games.
And he became Mr. Late Night with his penchant for getting huge hits off the bench.
There's quite a few young stars that emerged out of that.
For a young guy in a pennant race to produce the way he did in a pinch hitting role is really unusual. Usually it's that veteran guy like a Giambi, who's had 6 zillion at bats and has seen it all and done it all. And this kid, wide-eyed, he showed up and he was about the last guy anybody in the National League wanted to see with the game on the line in the 9th inning. And Smith's got to go away. Strikeout by Butler. Well, we mentioned that Rich Donnelly at third base celebrating his 69th birthday. Rich, an unusual distinction. He's the only man that I know of who played in Denver in the early 70s. He managed in Denver in, I think it was 80 or 81. And he also coached in Denver. He coached with the Rockies. He was on Buddy Bell's staff.
Well, now you're going to get all the Denver Bear and Zephyr historians going to work here.
Yeah, and it's not a surprise, Frazier, as you know. You can't see Lloyd. He's got his head looking down at some notes, but it's not a surprise. This has popped up shallow left, that Rich Donnelly and Lloyd McClendon are working together. When Lloyd got the job in Seattle, you know, one of his first calls was to Donnelly because Donnelly coached him in Pittsburgh, and they had a very special relationship. They were very, very close, even though Rich was a coach and Lloyd at the time was a player. And Rich was saying today, he goes, he laughs as his wife will say, you see Lloyd more than you've seen me the last 15 years, because he picks Lloyd up on the way to the stadium in the morning and drops him off after the game.
Well, think about this too. You got to connect dots in baseball. Connect him to Jim Leland, who worked for Jimmy. He was Jim Leland's third base coach for a long time, talking about Rich Donnelly.
Left field pretty well hit. Parker going back, and this one is gone. Opposite field. Home run for Brad Miller, his 9th. And it's 7-1.
Think about this. All the damage occurred in the last inning. 2 outs, back-to-back home runs. Finally got the third out. 2 quick outs, a strikeout, and a soft fly ball to left. Now the home run by Brad Miller, his 9th. Second RBI in the ball game for him also. Backdoor slider that he just stayed on.
And this is in the air to Blackman. In center, Mike Zunino retired. So 2-out home run from Brad Miller. Again, all 7 runs have come across with 2 outs. 3 home runs for the Mariners tonight.
Clendon, the manager of the Mariners, and he spent a lot of time here in Denver playing for the Zephyrs. That was back in '85 and '86, AAA baseball here. We show a picture of him playing with the Zephyrs, and it's interesting when you, as you said, George, you connect the dots in baseball. He was drafted by the Mets, traded in 1982 by the Mets to the Reds. You know what trade he was involved in? The trade that brought Tom Seaver to Cincinnati.
That was a good trade for the Reds, by the way.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
but that's what you could say. That's how you connect the dots. He was in the Tom Seaver deal, and then got to the Reds, and the rest is kind of history, as you guys always know.
And Mark, as you know, having grown up in Jersey, as Charlie takes a strike on the outside corner, it's 1-1. The late M. Donald Grant was no longer real popular, shall we say, in the New York metropolitan area after trading away Tom Terrific.
Yeah, my mom was a Tom Terrific and a Wayne Garrett fan when I was growing up as a kid. Those were her favorite players.
Carrot Top, Wayne Garrett. Two balls and a strike on Charlie. He roped a double to deep right center his first time up. He scored the Rockies' only run. Corner 2-2. Blackman looking back at Jerry Davis, wanting to know exactly where that was because it looked like it was off the plate. In fact, if you look at the Ford strike zone, Charlie should be standing on first base.
Another thing I miss about the Mets.
Ground ball, deep short. Miller.
Got to get on.
Did he get it? Close. Safe. Good job getting up the line, Charlie Blackman. Will Little with the call.
He just out hustled it. Plain and simple. Second hit for Charlie in the ball game. Slashed to the left side of the infield. They got rid of it fairly quick, and it was very accurate. Charlie's strides were longer, though. That's a good call. That's a great call, Will Little.
Jose Reyes, an RBI single in the first. What were we saying about
Rusty Staub and his ribs at Rusty's? Oh, those ribs were good.
I'm trying to think, was that restaurant was on 3rd Avenue in the 50s, wasn't it?
Right on the corner. Boy, they were good ribs.
Seven runs, 7 hits for the Mariners. The Rockies are hitting the ball hard against Hernandez. They have a run on 4 hits. Allowed outs also. Jose now 7 for 13 lifetime against Felix Hernandez. And this is his 26th career game at Coors Field. Again, playing with the Mets and the Marlins. Been here. 254 lifetime hitter with a couple home runs at Coors Field. Hasn't been here in 3 years. This ball is pulled to Cano. Good pickup. There's one, and the rare double play.
Boy, he makes it look
Jose
easy.
Reyes.
Yeah, he makes it look easy. He does a one-hop line drive. He just took one step back and just picks and throws. Now watch this ball. You're going to see this ball hit pretty hard. One hip line drive. Now just step back, fires perfectly over to Miller. Miller on to first base to Montero. Not an easy double play. Talk to Jeff Houston about it, the middle infielder. That's not an easy ball to pick when it's hit that hard. Cano very confident with his hands.
He's been the premier second baseman in the game the last 10 years. Obviously, most of his work in the Bronx with the Yankees. You know, he returned to Yankee Stadium a few weeks ago and hit a couple of home runs in a ball game. Still likes that inviting right field wall there.
Who doesn't if you're left-handed?
Here's the 1-0 to Arenado. Inside 2-0 on Nolan. Fly ball to right field in the first inning.
That's why the Yankees tried to get as many left-handed starting pitchers as they could because of the short porch and right. They thought it made it a little harder on left-handed hitters to hit it out. I'll tell you something. Sometimes for a guy like King Felix, that lower end run average, wins a lot of games, always in the top 3 or 4 in the Cy Young voting. 7-1 games are harder to pitch in than the 1-0, 2-1 games. It's only natural to start to relax a little bit. Ball 4. I got a big lead. I'll just go out and pound the zone. Next thing you know, they do the same thing that's happened to Eddie Butler. Hey, tomorrow the first 10,000 through the gates are going to, for the Rockies Mariners game, you're going to receive a coupon for a Hebrew National hot dog. It's get your tickets now for that and get your coupon. Be one of the first 10,000 here at the ballpark. Always a popular giveaway at the yard. Hey, when are they giving the hats away? This next couple of days, isn't it, Doug? Those are always fun to get.
2 outs. Arenado at first. Cargo steps up. Seattle does put 3 on the right side. Cargo lined out to fairly deep center field his first time. And this ball is into shallow left, and it's going to drop in front of Smith.
Yeah, Seth playing pretty deep too. He's kind of taking heed of what Marte was doing in center.
So the Rockies have 2 aboard for LeMahieu with 2 outs. LeMahieu struck out swinging in his first at bat against Hernandez. Nolan at second, Cargo at first. Felix Hernandez 18-9, a 2.75 ERA against the National League in his career. 2.75 in interleague played, the best all-time ERA. And on the swing, LeMahieu's down 0-2. He's 1 percentage point ahead of Jared Weaver. 4 percentage points ahead of David Wells. Freddie Garcia high on that list, as well as Justin Verlander. Blocked behind the plate by Zunino.
It's only a couple of teams he hadn't thrown against. That was the Cardinals and the Rockies. The Rockies crossed that one off the list. It'll be a while probably before he sees the Cardinals. And of course, he has not pitched against the Seattle Mariners either.
No, there was that inter-squad game, George, back in 07.
Does not count.
1-2. And LeMahieu swings and misses again. So the Rockies leave 2 on. They had a couple of hits in the inning. And we'll go to the 4th. The Mariners in front 7-1. by the Ford Escape. Smart, safe, and fun to drive. Ford Escape, go further. By Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Rockies in the midst of a long stretch where most of their games are out on the road. They're home for just 3 ball games, all obviously against the Mariners, down 7-1 as we go to the 4th inning. With George Frazier and Mark Stout, I'm Drew Goodman. Felix Hernandez will lead it off again. He struck out his first time up. Felix is one of those guys, George, and you play with a bunch of these pitchers. You were not one of them, being a reliever. One of those starting pitchers that loves to talk about hitting. He doesn't get to do it much playing in the American League, but even though he's in the AL, on the days he doesn't pitch, he is frequently seen pacing up and down the dugout with a bat in his hand.
Yeah, not going to hit, though. Like to see you thinking that way, probably not going to get to hit that way.
No, he got this one in play.
Well, the biggest thing, when they come into interleague play like this, your manager's biggest fear is that. Top one in front of the plate, try to beat it out to get a hit. Ball hit in the gap, got to run the bases, you hook a spike. All those things come through your mind. Edgar Martinez is like, all right, I can. When the game's over, I'll give him a hard time. He's locked in pitching. I'll leave him alone for right now.
And they will give him a hard time. He is wildly popular, not only with the huge fan base in Seattle, but with his teammates. He's a gregarious guy. He's a very giving guy. He is extremely popular in that clubhouse. 1 out, and Ketel Marte takes a strike. Marte had 3 hits in the ball game yesterday. That 4-1 11-inning victory at Target Field for Seattle over the Twins. And he's going to hit it on the ground again to DJ. Well, here we are, 2 outs. This has been the problem for Eddie Butler. He's given up 7 runs, all with 2 outs in the first 3 frames. Kyle Seager has been a big part of the problem tonight. A double and a run scored, and a long home run his last time up. Ground ball to second. DJ's got it. Butler's going to have his first 1-2-3 inning. 7-1 Mariners. Mariners are up 7-1. Nelson Cruz hit a home run in 4 straight. Mariners as a team have 3 home runs tonight against Eddie Butler. Ben Paulson is going to lead it off against Felix Hernandez in the 4th, and Nick Hundley and Kyle Parker. And quietly, certainly nationally quietly, putting together a very solid rookie season. 288 average, 8 home runs, 31 driven in, coming in. He has a base hit tonight. Got the 2nd highest slugging percentage of any National League rookie. The only guy higher the Rockies just saw, that's Randall Grichuk. Paulson slugging above 500, Grichuk at 564. On the corner, strike 3. That's the 4th strikeout for Felix Hernandez.
Yeah, he starts figuring this out. This hard curveball, it's not going to be much fun. Excuse me, fastball right on the outside corner, set up by the curveball previous pitch. That's not going to be much fun.
Nick Hundley takes ball 1. Nick hit the ball a ton his first time up to the wall in center field. In fact, the top of the wall. And Marte reached up and made the catch. Nick's hit 8 home runs this year. And he's got himself a base hit to the left side.
Very consistent this entire year. Behind the plate and at the plate.
Parker struck out on 3 pitches. First time up, takes inside ball 1. 280 in 93 games with the Isotopes this year. 563 minor league games, a 290 career hitter with 91 home runs. The #1 pick of the Rockies out of Clemson. They felt when they drafted him it may take a little bit longer, even though he was a college draft pick, in that he wasn't a full-time baseball player. He was a football player.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. A lot of times you think about it, freshman, sophomore year, you're at spring practice. And that isn't baseball.
There's a base hit for Kyle. And going first to third is Nick Hundley. Rockies lead baseball in going first to third. They're 2 on with 1 out. Butler coming up.
Now, I think they're going to go to the bullpen. I'd say Bergman's warming up down there, and I think they'll go to their bench. That's exactly what they're going to do. Drew Stubbs going to come in and pinch hit now with just 1 out. It serves a lot of purposes for Walt. One, Eddie's not pitching anymore. That's you're going to have to go to your bullpen, but you have Drew Stubbs coming up. If he gets a ball on the ground, you're going to get 1 run out of the deal. Because you're not going to be able to turn 2 with his speed. Shouldn't be able to, put it that way. Bergman will continue to get loose down in the bullpen in preparation to come in and pitch the 5th inning.
Stubbs hard down the line. What a play at third by Seager, but he's not going to get anybody. It'll turn into an RBI single for Drew Stubbs, and it's 7-2. That's a heck of a play by Seager. An Arenado-esque play just to stop the baseball. Otherwise, it's in the corner.
And that's what you hope to accomplish with his speed, that he's going to hit the ball hard. It's going to be on the ground, and you get one. You're not able to turn the double play. See Hundley with the walking lead. It's hit. Once he sees the backhand, he looks over the shoulder. No play there. No play at first. And a nice play by Seager at third base, able to dock this ball down, stop it. Didn't have the grip on the ball, and that's why he didn't make the initial throw to first to try to get Drew Stubbs.
On Blackman.
Stubbs, even though his average for the season is not high, he's 5 for 11 as a pinch hitter, 2 RBIs now. Excuse me, 3 RBIs.
This is pulled hard at Montero. They get the lead runner, and that's it. Actually, not the lead runner, but they get the force at second. So it's first and third, 2 outs, and that'll bring up Jose Reyes.
King Felix, he's had to work for this. Nice job, Drew Stubbs.
Idea by percentage what Hernandez may throw here. First pitch to Reyes. And Jose fouls it off. It was a curveball. Hernandez made his debut at 19 years, 118 days. Youngest pitcher in Mariners history. Jose Rio was a little bit younger when he made his debut out of the bullpen. This ball is lobbed out in the left center field. Base hit for Reyes. Rockies get another run. Blackman goes first to third. Reyes pounding his hands together. It's 7-3.
Another RBI. That's 36 on the year.
Turned into a nice little debut here at home for Jose Reyes. 2 for 3, couple ribs.
Rotation tells you slider. Reyes really got his hands inside the ball, just spotted off, basically. I mean, dumped it out into the outfield. Their outfield playing as deep as it's playing. Difficult chance, A, to catch the ball, B, to throw anybody out at the plate.
Throw to second, and safe is Reyes. 2 in scoring position as Arenado will have an opportunity to narrow the gap a little bit more. For Reyes, his second stolen base in a Rockies uniform.
His 17th of the year that he has been able to steal. Big jump on King Felix, head down, face down. Going to get into that bag ahead of the throw. No attempted tag whatsoever. That ball cut, went out on the shortstop side on Zunino, so there was not a play made. I mean, obviously the one thing that Reyes doesn't have is the power of a Tulowitzki, but he didn't have his speed either. Reyes has a ton of speed.
Two 2-0 on Arenado. 0-1, 0 for 1, I should say, in a walk. And this ball down the line is foul. Queued up the line, and Hernandez has it, and he'll flip to first to end the inning. Rockies come up with a pair of runs on 4 singles in the frame. They move to within 4 runs. Subaru eyesight review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. So after the pinch hit single by Drew Stubbs, the new pitcher for the Rockies is Christian Bergman, making his return after spending several weeks on the disabled list. Working long haul is Bergman. They'll face Cruz, Cano, and Smith.
38 2/3 innings, 25 strikeouts. He's walked 8, and he'll pound the zone. And if it's on the ground, it's good. If it's up, it's not. So that's where Christian Bergman's game, deception to his delivery.
So Nelson Cruz, 1 for 2, a home run, a line drive to left center. His last time up, he's homered in 4 straight games. He has 30 home runs now. Hit over 300 in every month other than June. 322 in April, 346 in May, 239 in June. He had 336 in July. And so far in August, he's 5 for 11. He's having an MVP caliber season. Unfortunately for Nelson, Seattle in 4th place in the West, 10 games beneath 500, despite all of his good work.
See, the other thing is, despite all his great work, there's a guy named Trout. It's unfair not just to Cruz, it's unfair to the rest of the American League when it comes to the MVP.
I was talking to Lloyd McClendon about him, and he just ran out of superlatives. They see him all the time.
He's a freak. I mean, he does things no other players do. The other day, he hit a grand slam, comes back up, hits a solo shot. I mean, just does crazy stuff in a game. Climb the wall, catch the ball. That ball is elevated. Cruz has fought it off right field.
So base hit for Cruz. And the reason Trout's name came up, and I recall, George, from talking to Lloyd, talking about a number of subjects, and you know, Lloyd was with Barry Bonds, and he said Barry Bonds was the best player in the game before the body got a lot bigger. And he said the only guy that I've seen that's comparable is Mike Trout.
Well, I think people forget about it. Barry won Gold Gloves.
It was great left field.
You know, they all talked about, oh, he couldn't ever throw, he couldn't. No, Barry could throw. And he won Gold Gloves out in left field. He hit a lot of home runs prior to that.
Robbie Cano.
By the way, did Bonds ever test positive? Never tested positive, did he? No, he did not.
I'm not going down. I'm not going down that path.
Trust me, he was tested.
0-2 on Robinson Cano. I watched Robbie Cano in the playoffs. I was covering the Minnesota Twins New York Yankees series a few years back, and it was an off day, and they were having a workout in the Bronx at the stadium. And Kevin Long, who was the hitting coach at the time for the Yankees, he's now the Mets hitting coach, was doing front toss on a screen with another screen about 1.5 feet in front of Cano.
Now explain. Wait, stop there before. I mean, everybody that works in baseball every day understands front toss. Explain what front toss is.
He's literally tossing the ball behind a screen underhand from about 20 feet away. And Cano had another screen, as did Cervelli, because they were doing the drill together, about 1.5 feet in front of him. The drill is so you keep your hands inside, really stay inside the ball. He hit 14 balls in a row out to right field. He almost came close to hitting that one out to center field on a front toss drill. So he's supplying, George, all the power. You can't extend the arm because then you'll hit the screen that was placed there at home plate also. He hit 14 straight balls into the seats in right field. Very, very gifted guy. Seth Smith, 0 for 1 and a walk. up on that board. The Rockies actually have out-hit the Mariners 9-8, but they're down 7-3. Again, the Mariners have 3 home runs tonight. Seager, Cruz, and Brad Miller. Good pitch from Bergman. It's 0-2. Seb bounces it to Reyes. There's one to Arenado to first, and it is your basic 6-5-3 double play. Middle of 5, Rockies trailing 7-3. Cargo will lead off when we return.
Cargo is going to lead off. He's already faced Felix Hernandez a couple of times. He does have a hit. These two guys go way back. Listen to Cargo.
This is a reunion back in 1990. You know, we used to play against each other since we were 5. You know, and you know, it's gonna be a fun battle. He always bring energy. Always smile when I'm on the on-deck circle, when I'm about to hit against him. So it'll be fun. It's like when we used to play little leagues, and now we're back here in the big leagues doing the same thing what we used to do back in the day.
He'll look over at you when you're on deck?
Yeah, he's going to give me a fight. I'm going to give him a fight, too, so it'll be fun.
So Cargo's from Maracaibo, and King Felix is from Valencia. They're more than 300 miles away in Venezuela, but I'm assuming they played on traveling teams or the good teams. But it was fun to talk to Cargo about this matchup, guys.
Well, I'm sure it was. It's always fun when you're facing a former teammate, a guy you grew up with or played against in the Little League and all those other things. You know, you want a little bragging rights, too, because you know these two are going to talk tomorrow before the game at some point.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's all business. It should be all business the day you're pitching.
Cargo lined out to deep center, singled. Now he's behind 1-2. And King Felix has bragging rights in that at bat. That is the 5th strikeout for Hernandez. That'll bring up DJ LeMahieu, and he has fanned DJ twice. Well, we did a little comparison. The more famous second baseman on the left, Robbie Cano, making $24 million a season. DJ still just slightly above the major league minimum. It's fouled off. And what they've done this year, obviously DJ with the higher batting average. The RBI is pretty similar. The runs scored favoring LeMahieu by 9. DJ 13 stolen bases. Cano just a couple of stolen bases. This gives you an idea how good DJ LeMahieu's been this year. Outside 1-2. Two and two. One out in the Rockies' fifth. Ben Paulson's on deck. Again, if you're just joining us, the Rockies have swung the bat well against Hernandez.
9 hits. They've out-hit them. They've out-hit the Mariners. 9-8. But they trail 7-3. The long ball bit Eddie Butler.
Strike three, inside corner.
Doug, I think you got to go a couple blue moons before you figure out how many times this guy struck out 3 times in a game. I guarantee you, talking about DJ LeMahieu, that hasn't happened.
I don't remember any this year.
Yeah, fastball in. After staying a steady diet away, brings the fastball in. DJ, as you start to dive forward, do you think that ball's going to get you? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty close. Two strikes.
And Jerry Davis get him a couple inches on either side of the plate at times. Ben Paulson.
The only other time this year, Drew, was May 16th at LA. Probably Kershaw. Probably a no-hitter.
Probably a good guess.
Or Greinke. Greinke.
Two and one. You don't want to get him in a rhythm.
He's in one right now. He starts getting a couple of those secondary pitches working. It's pretty tough.
Ball tailing away from Paulson. He did well just to get a piece of it. Strongest inning yet for Hernandez, I should say. 1-2-3 in the fifth. Nick Hundley with a little fan. That's awesome. Good stuff. That's our Data Strong fan of the game, brought to you by T-Mobile. As we go to the top of the 6th inning, second inning of work for Christian Bergman. Jesus Montero will lead things off. Montero up with the Mariners for the 2nd time this year. They sent him out, and you want to talk about forcing your way back. They had no choice but to bring Montero back. He had 472, 17 for 36 down at Tacoma, with 7 extra base hits.
Well, he hit well before that too. He hit over 330, 340 before that.
Yeah, for the year, you're right, George. He's hit 346 in Tacoma, 17 doubles, 6 triples. That's just shocking for a guy that size. 16 home runs, 75 ribbies in 93 games. And Montero has a 2-run double in this ball game.
Well, they've been looking for a right-handed bat, a power bat. And they signed Cruz. They still wanted more protection for Cano and Cruz and Seager, and they started looking, where are we going to go, who are we going to get? Well, they had it right there in the back door.
Bergman ahead 0-2, and he rides the fastball up. Montero came to Seattle in the deal for Michael Pineda.
Well, they thought this was the next future of catching when he came over.
He was one of the half-dozen top prospects in the game. Well, I was talking, I said to Lloyd McClendon earlier, I said, wait till you see the Rockies' third baseman. He said, I've watched a ton of highlights. He said, I've seen all I need to see. And I said, well, you'll see at least one tonight.
You may see 2, you may see 3. That's exactly what Nolan Arenado does on a nightly basis. And they flip on over to first base, able to get Montero. Nice play for Nolan. Again. All on the Subaru Super Mode.
See, ordinarily, that would get people out of their chairs, but Rockies fans say, oh, that's routine. That's just Nolan being Nolan. It's a strike on Brad Miller, an RBI single and a home run that snuck over the left field wall. Nick gets the out at first base, and they're 2 gone.
Playing fantasy baseball, the MLB.TV series serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players, live or on demand, on over 400 devices. So make sure you sign up for MLB.TV today.
David Price made his debut for the Blue Jays.
How'd that go
today? Well, it went well for David Price. Struck out 11. A speed pitch for a strike on Mike Zunino. Toronto won that game 5-1 over the Twins.
Texas getting hot. They're leading Houston 12-7. That game's in the 6th inning. Adrian Beltre has hit for the cycle. Really, his 3rd cycle in his career. Good for Adrian.
Does anybody else have 3 cycles, Doug, in their career in the history of the game? There's 4 other guys. High fly ball down the right field line. Cargo runs out of room. That game at Skydome with David Price making the start, an afternoon affair. It was sold out.
A lot of excitement going on in Toronto right now.
Tulo in that game, if you're wondering, was 1 for 3, scored a couple runs. Hitting .350 with his new club thus far. Other guys having an impact. Jonas Cespedes has 3 doubles tonight for the Mets. Babe Herman, Bob Musial, John Riley. The other 3 players with 3 cycles, and now Adrian Beltre joins them. So it was 4 total. Mariners fans adored Beltre when he was up in Seattle. That just missed 3-2. You go to first when you get 4 balls, and you have to go back to the dugout when you get 3 strikes. This is embarrassing for Mike Zunino. All right, I'm going to get rid of the bat. There's my elbow guard. Oops.
We put all that back on again.
It's going to be a big strike zone here, Mike.
Now you can go back to the dugout.
Yeah,
that's right. The inning's over.
1-2-3 inning for Christian Bergman. Middle of 6, 7-3 Mariners. Order to face Felix Hernandez. Our old friend Angie Mentink, who works sidelines and is a terrific host for our friends at Root Sports Northwest. And Angie wrote best of both worlds. 4 innings into the game, I remember the Root Sports Rocky Mountain and Root Sports Northwest are broadcasting the same game. Yes, that's accurate, Angie. We are playing each other. Angie does a great job. See Angie and Seattle crew during spring training quite frequently, and we'll see him up in the Northwest in September. Really looking forward to going to Seattle, one of the great cities in our wonderful country. Felix Hernandez settled in last inning, a 1-2-3 inning, couple strikeouts. Nick Hundley has hit him hard, a deep fly ball to the wall in center field, and then a single through the left side of the infield. Makes 1 for 2. And that ball is pulled foul.
Felix Hernandez has averaged 6.8 innings, almost 7 in his career per start. This year it's been about 6.5. Down just a little bit.
Two-strike count on Hundley. Slowly hit up the middle. Miller was over in the hole, and Miller unable to field it cleanly. And that'll be up to the official score. Do you give him an infield hit, or is it an error on Miller?
Give him a hit.
I'd give him a hit.
Give him a hit.
Because, again, Brad had to come a long way. He was over in the hole. See where he is. That's a great look at it.
Well, it's going to be a difficult play because Hundley can run pretty well, but he has squeezed it a little bit early. A base hit. See, he squeezed early, didn't get it up into his glove, tried to make the change over. Didn't happen.
Now Kyle Parker. Kyle had a base hit to right his last time up.
Now Bergman's in the on-deck circle. Nobody's warming up in the Rockies bullpen. Indication was probably not going to bunt and pinch hit for him. Short bench, you only have 4. Stubbs is gone, then you're down to 3. McHenry you wouldn't use till late in the game.
Called strike, 0-2. Strikeout number 7 for Hernandez. Let's look at some of the career numbers for Felix Hernandez. His ERA among active starters of at least 1,500 innings, 307's third, strikeouts 4th, walks plus hits per inning pitched 5th, a 117 whip. And again, the thing that you marvel at in this day and age where if you get 2 years in a row where a guy makes 32, 33, 34 starts, you're like doing cartwheels. This guy 9 straight years. He just doesn't miss.
It's called healthy.
It's called he's very healthy in an industry that sees a lot of pitchers become unhealthy.
You know, guys like him are a freak. They come around about every 20 years. That type of an arm, that type of stuff. It's like every 20, 25 years, strike 2 on the attempted bunt by Bergman.
He'll attempt it again here, 0-2. That didn't work out. He's gone. And there are 2 outs. Charlie Blackmon coming up. 8 strikeouts for Hernandez, averaging almost a strikeout per inning pitched. Runner going, throw to second, not in time. Stolen base for Nick Hundley. A surprise attack.
5 stolen bases now for Nick. He's been caught 5 times. 4 of those 5 were on a hit and run where they didn't complete it or didn't swing over the top of it. Most stolen bases in the season for Nick Hundley? I'm going to say 12.
I'm going to say 6.
Well, I didn't say what league it happened.
Charlie fouls it off. Blackmon a double, an infield single, 2 for 3. Career high is 5. He just matched it, did it in 09.
Steal third. Get a big lead and go.
Not necessary, George. Not
just
necessary.
saying he could.
It's in scoring position.
Nobody would think he was going to do it right now. Sneak attack.
1-2. Charlie, hard ground ball, fair, down the left field line. Here comes Hundley with the Rockies' 4th run into second with a double. It's Blackmon, his 3rd hit of the ball game, and the Rockies are within 3.
RBI number 45 for Charlie Blackmon. I don't know, folks. This is a pretty good leadoff man to have on your ball club. You look around baseball, there's not many that match up. Home runs, RBI, stolen bases, slapped that ball by Seager at 3rd base. Seager well off the line. It's the 6th inning as he should be. Left-handed hitter. And he just shot it by him. Charlie now out at 2nd base. And a chance to cut this thing to 2 runs.
Jose Reyes led off every ball game he played for Toronto this year, but no way you're going to move Blackmon out of the 1 spot. So Jose batting in the 2-hole for the Rockies. That's bumped DJ down typically to an RBI spot here in the first week that Reyes has been a Rocky.
Big stolen base by Hundley. At 5th of the year, got into scoring position. A double scores him. The most by a Rockies catcher, 7. Miguel Oliva in 2010.
Jose's already driven in 2 tonight.
Olivo's the guy that bit the guy. He's the guy that bit the guy's ear. And Olivo's now catching in Mexico now. Summer League.
Strong man.
Strong teeth too, apparently.
Evidently. He can hit the ball a long way. Rockies have had some catchers that could run a little bit. I've often told you Nick's an athletic guy. He was an outstanding high school football player. Willeen doesn't really catch anymore, but Willeen underway. George doesn't run badly. Willeen was named the Pacific Coast League Player of the Week. They couldn't get him out in the PCL this week. Two and two. Two and two on Jose Reyes. Rockies down 7-4. Blackmon at 2nd base. Boy, if Jose can come through here, how big would that be? Good swing.
Not wanting to leave the changeup up, but he did. The one thing you notice, though, Jose stayed wide with his legs to keep a quiet upper half, so he doesn't have pull off of that ball, and able to slap at it.
You know, George, this is the 98th pitch coming up. Hernandez due to lead off next inning, and figure if nothing else, the Rockies can run Hernandez out of here after 6 innings. You get into that shaky Seattle bullpen, and you're still in contact.
Yeah, that's right. I don't ever think game's over with here. When you're in the 6th, 7th inning, you're down 3, maybe 5. I still don't think the game's over with. Most pitches thrown this year for Felix, 114, excuse me, against Texas in a win.
Foul tip, and it's off of Zunino, so Reyes continues that battle. Remember, Jose's 8 for 15 lifetime against Felix Hernandez. I don't know how many guys can say that. At 15 or more at bats, and you're hitting above 500 against the great Felix Hernandez. First time Hernandez has ever faced the Rockies. Jose hit 286 with 2 strikes this year. And this is blue to shallow left. Miller going out. It's going to get there. That closes the book on the Rockies in the bottom of the 6th. They come up with another run on the RBI double by Blackmon. They're within 3. Top of inning number 7. The Rockies trailing 7-4. Felix Hernandez, despite being right at 100 pitches, will hit for himself here in the 7th. He's 0 for 2. And he takes a strike from Christian Bergman. So back in 2008, Felix hit his only career home run. Fargo coming fast. Great effort, man. Gives you an idea how good his knees feel. He was flying.
And on your ballpark, too. He's coming, baby. What a great effort. The thing about that, Drew, you're sliding from grass to that gravel in front. He knows it too. I'm gonna roll over to save my forearms.
So back in 08, George, here's the 0-2. And that's pretty sharply hit. DJ's got it. Felix goes deep with the bases loaded at Shea Stadium against his hero, Johan Santana.
Pretty good feeling, wasn't it?
Yeah, hit a granny.
When you grow up watching these guys like Santana,
and he went oppo, by the way, right center field.
Well, mistake, swung hard, something good happened.
Right.
And it's like first time I faced Johnny Bench. I mean, all you ever hear about Johnny Bench. Willie Stargell. You start facing some of those guys in the Hall of Fame, it's a little different.
How many other hits do you think Felix has in his career?
None.
10 years.
None.
3. He's got four hits total.
All right, got the big one out of the way.
Got the big kahuna out of the way. Ketel Marte at the plate. He's 0 for 3. He's hit it on the ground to DJ twice, and once to Ben Paulson. Bergman in relief of Butler.
He's been outstanding too.
Yes, he has.
Threw up some zeros, 2 zeros in a row. If you can calm it down, save your bullpen, get you into that next time you come around. He's 7 spots till you get to the pitcher again. mean, hopefully he has to come up in the 7th inning, but if not, he eats up some innings for you and saves your bullpen. And that's what Bergman's done all year. Very unsung type position of a bullpen and on a pitching staff. The long guy. But it saved it for Walt Weiss a lot of nights when he's come in and shut things down.
Good pitch. Pulled the string and he strikes out Marte.
The Rockies are seeking nominations for the 13th Annual Adult Leadership Award. The award recognizes individuals who have demonstrated a commitment to the Hispanic community. Visit Rockies.com/leadership for more information.
That's 8 in a row retired. Check it, 7 in a row retired by Bergman. 2 outs. Kyle Seager, double home run, ground ball to second. Seager at the plate. Corey's brother Justin was picked in the 12th round by the Mariners 2 years ago. And Corey's top prospect, as we mentioned earlier, the Dodgers. He was a first-round pick, 17th overall in 2012. Learned the game from their dad, Jeff, who played collegiately at Fairleigh Dickinson. 3-1 on Seager. Outside, so Bergman with 2 outs will have to face Nelson Cruz with a man aboard. Cruz tonight grounded to third, then hit a home run to left center and also a single. Steve Foster on the jog coming out.
Looks like Germain is warming up down in the bullpen for the Rockies.
Germain.
Number 62.
So there's the cycle for Adrian Beltre. He joins teammate Shin-Soo Choo with a cycle this year for the Rangers. Choo's cycle came here at Coors Field. When Adrian Beltre retires, it'll be a shock for me if 5 years later he is not inducted first time around into the Hall of Fame. There's a strike. .407 during this 14-game hitting streak. He's reached in 17 in a row. Breaking ball's a strike. 2 on Cruz. Cruz last year 271, 40 home runs, 108 driven in for Baltimore. The 40 home runs led the American League. All-Star now 4 different times. Cruz last month turned 35, native of the Dominican Republic. He's one of those guys, George, you're going to look back on his career, and he was, for the most part, more devastating hitter in his 30s than in his 20s.
Maturity. Knowing who he is, what he does.
Off. The throw to second's not going to get him, so a stolen base for Kyle Seager.
The second of the season. You know, sometimes you get your thoughts get with that hitter so much that kind of forget what's going on as a pitcher because you're concentrating to try to get that last out of an inning.
And this bounces away, and the wild pitch allows Seager to go to third.
Yeah, tough on the breaking ball. It's going to ricochet and go opposite off your body. That allowed the advancement.
Ball 4. Cruz walks. And it's first and third for Robinson Cano.
And you got to remember that Bergman, as well as he's pitched here in this ball game, his pitch count has not been extended very far. Rehab signs, rehab starts, rehab appearances. That's why Walt's going to go down to the bullpen. He gave him a good effort here tonight. 2 2/3 innings shutout so far. They leave it in the hands of Germain coming out of the bullpen.
So Bergman did a nice job. He'll walk off. 7-4, 2 outs in the 7th. Lexus look back, Colorado's #1 volume Lexus dealer. Tough night for Eddie Butler. He saw 3 balls fly over the wall. Seager, Cruz, and then Oppo from Brad Miller. 7 runs against Butler, all with 2 outs. The Rockies, though, have whittled away. Jose Reyes has driven in a couple of runs tonight. 3 hits for Charlie Blackmon. His last one, a run-scoring double. The Rockies still in contact with Seattle, down 7-4. And Gonzalez, Germain, George needs to put this inning down right here with Robbie Cano at the plate. Seager at third, Cruz at first.
He could do it with a strikeout, but they're going to force him to throw strikes. You know, Robinson Cano this last winter plays for Australia and the Dominican. Hasn't played for years. He promised he would come down there during the playoffs. He went down and played 5 ball games. Bronzy made a deal with the Mariners. Hey, I want to go, but I'm only going to play in 5 ball games, and I'll get out of there. And he did. Played 5 games, which I thought was pretty neat for his Not only it wasn't for his country, but it was more for his hometown of the team that he grew up playing for.
1-1.
That's what he's got. Good fastball and a good changeup.
Speaking of another guy who learned the game from his dad remains the guy that knows his swing better than anybody. In the winter, his dad throws to him. In fact, wasn't Robbie in the home run derby a couple years back? His dad threw to him there. 1-1. It's 2-1. Here's a 2-1. And that ball's rifled to deep right, and it is a fair ball. A bullet off the wall. Runner scored. Cruz will get a stop sign from Rich Donnelly on an RBI double by Robinson Cano. That's his 45th RBI. That thing was an absolute rocket. In fact, if he was in pinstripes still, he'd be trotting around the bases. That would have easily been out of Yankee Stadium.
But we're not. We're at Coors Field. And he ricocheted that thing off of right field. And he did smoke it. Unfortunately, that run will be charged to Bergman. A 2-out walk comes back to haunt the Rockies. And they're making an 8-4 ball game. And Seth Smith will come up second and third. How about the wall? Put a dent in it. That's all. And it is padding. So, I mean, you know, but still, he didn't. That's what you do when you go to that fantasy camp with us.
I wish.
You do.
Look how hard he hit the wall.
Yeah.
Cano's really come on, a .321 average since July 1st. One of the other factors in his slow start, he lost one of his grandparents who he was very, very close with early in the season. And you said this many times, George, you know, we watch on television. You and I are here every day. You played for a long time. You forget these guys are people, man.
That's a difficult
Not machines.
Yeah, and that's the hard part about it. There's no Superman written on anybody's chest here. Regardless of the amount of money you make, how many years you got in the big leagues, family's family. Nobody knows how many, if you spend up the entire night with a baby that might be sick, a wife.
2-1 on Seth Smith. Problem tonight for the Rockies. It's all appeared with 2 outs. The Mariners are 7 for 13 with 2 outs this evening. And with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, Lloyd McClendon's club is 4 for 4. And that's interesting because they're the worst team in baseball hitting with runners in scoring position coming in. 2-2. Changeup. They came into the ball game hitting .212 runners in scoring position, 30th in baseball. The Rockies second best at .290. The only team better, the San Francisco Giants. Giants at .292. 2 in scoring position, 2-2 on Seth Smith. And a strikeout of Smith to end the inning. Cano's double makes it 8-4 Seattle. Stretch time at Coors Field, middle of the order when we return.
Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price and sales and service guaranteed. And by Saratoga Casino, so new, so you. In the Mile High City, the Rockies trailing the Mariners 8-4. Felix Hernandez remains in the ballgame. The Rockies will have Nolan Arenado, Carlos Gonzalez, and DJ LeMahieu in the 7th. And that is ripped on one hop and Kyle Seager, and he completes the play to first. 1 pitch, 1 out. 101 pitches in for Hernandez.
Former Rocky Joe Bible throwing down in the bullpen, the left-hander. Wilhelmsen, the right-hander.
Eight runs, 9 hits, no errors for Seattle. The Rockies 4 runs, 11 hits, no errors. Cargo has one of those hits. He's 1 for 3. That's the average to 279. Home runs now, 53 driven in. Any pitch, any count with Hernandez. That's a curveball, which he throws about 21% of the time. The league this year is hitting just a $123 against his curveball. Is that any good?
Pretty good.
One and two. As you said, he doesn't throw quite as hard as he used to, but he's still been running up 93, 94.
Last start, he was up to 95. He got hit around a little bit.
Whoa!
Oh.
Get out of the way. I thought they were close friends.
Well, they got Cargo and it got the catcher. Got both of them.
See if he looks over there.
Oh, he's looking over there.
Yeah, I think he just said, "Yeah, all right." You will never move quicker in your life, George, will you?
Well, fastball coming in. Watch, he's going to get out of the way. It's going to ricochet and then catch Zunino right in the mask.
I think he caught his elbow guard, fortunately.
Yeah. Well, they all wear that now.
I know you're not a big fan.
No, I'm not. Did they put an L screen up for the pitcher? I don't think so.
DJ 0 for 3 and 3 strikeouts. Just the second time this year in a game he has struck out 3 times. Called strike, and every at bat it seems DJ's been in a whole 0-2. Hernandez has struck out 8. Hard slider. One out. Cargo at first. After being hit, LeMahieu to be followed by Ben Paulson. He's pitch number 111. Strike 3.
Got him a fastball in after changeup, curveball, changeup, and then fastball in. The last time DJ struck out in 4 times in a game, September the 19th, 2013 versus St. Louis. It was a 15-inning game. Terry Lane's called it a couple of times tonight. The pitch count got him 111. Lloyd's going to go get him.
So Felix Hernandez walks off with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Said to Jerry Davis, good job. 8-4 Seattle.
Brewers night is back for 2015 on Saturday, August the 22nd, with a pregame parade for fans in costumes. Drew will be Yoda, and I'm going to be, what's that big guy, Chewbacca, whatever. Purchase the Star Wars tickets package to receive the 2015 limited edition Star Wars Night t-shirt while you're there. An old friend, Joe Beimel, comes into the ball game. Left on left, he'll face Ben Paulson. 34th appearance for Mr. Beimel. He's pitched well this year. 33 innings, 18 strikeouts, an earned run average of 2.73.
And a broken bat, little pop-up that's tracked down in short left center field by Brad Miller, and one pitch ends it. Fargo left at first base. We move to the 8th inning. 8-4 Seattle. 4 in the top of the 8th inning. Here is what's next for the Rockies. If you missed it, John Gray will make his major league debut tomorrow against these Mariners. He's come on the last couple of months down in Albuquerque. 6.3 at 3.17 ERA since May the 2nd, covering 17 starts. Glenn Allen Hill gave the news yesterday. And AAA managers have fun when they get to send guys to the big leagues at any time, particularly for the first time. G. Hill called him in the office, and he stood there, or sat there, stared at John Gray, and then he handed him his new itinerary, which included a flight to Denver with the congratulations.
What every kid dreams of.
That's right. Jesus Montero fouls off the first pitch.
I think they got about 19 school buses heading out of Chandler, Oklahoma tomorrow, heading up here to watch the ball game. There will be a big crowd here.
Yep, his dad's making his way in.
Well, they're all going to be here. I know that Jay Franklin, his representative through all the negotiations, very close friend of the family, he'll be here. Ryan Gaines, director of baseball operations, called me. He tried to get 3 people to drive with him. They were going to leave early in the morning and head out, and they couldn't get any takers with school starting and football going on.
Oh, and 2 on Montero. 2-run double in the first, 1 for 3. Nolan Arenado made a good play on him his last time up. Jermaine's pitch, changeup, strike 3. Let's check in again with Mark Stout. Mark, how you doing?
All right, Drew. John Gray got a chance to talk to the media today. It was about 3:10 at his locker, and here's what he hopes to do tomorrow in his debut.
My attitude lately has been go at guys and use every strength I have. I'm not giving any free passes on base. That's my mindset, and I'm going to make it as possible, hard as possible to get on base.
I got into the dugout at about 2:30 this afternoon. He was there on the rail just taking things in. And I said, how many times have you been here? He said, one other time, the time that he signed after being drafted 3rd overall in 2013. He was just kind of taking it in, saying, this is awesome. Tomorrow's going to be an exciting day, guys.
Yes, it will.
And that's going to be the hardest thing to do, is control those emotions when you get on the mound.
John, 20 and 11, a 3.82 ERA in 54 minor league games. Inside, 1 and 2 on Brad Miller. RBI single and then a solo home run. Brad's 2 for 3. One of those Clemson products is Brad Miller. Got 3 of them out there tonight with Kyle Parker in left field. Of course, Ben Paulson at first. And a base hit to right.
Pretty good night for him.
Yeah,
3
real
base
good night.
hits, a couple of singles, and a home run. Be sure to check out the Great Clips charity cuts on Wednesday, August the 5th. Stop by Great Clips kiosk near the right field for your free haircut from Great Clips Stylists, with all the donations going to Colorado Rockies charities.
Here's Mike Zunino. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He's done a solid job as a receiver, but he's another in a long string of high first-round picks for the Mariners that hasn't completely panned out. He came into the ball game, George, hitting just a $180. He's their everyday catcher, and he was, throughout his minor league career, listed as one of the top prospects in the game.
Still young, still got a chance.
Yes, he does. Absolutely.
Did you see the other giveaway they're going to have pretty soon? You got one today.
Did I?
Yeah, he turned us on. Oh, there it is. Rooftop 2014. Isn't that cool? See?
I like it.
Yeah, by the Shane Company. Or you can hit it again. I think you can. And then it just goes solid like that. Oops. So you clip this on. So you clip that on. That turns it off and you hit it once and it flashes.
Special.
Well, you hang that on you when you're running. See, that's what it's for.
That's what I was thinking of.
You hook it on your hip while you're running, or on your backside
on
while
the
you're
back,
running.
yeah, so you don't get hit from behind.
And then I got another one I'm going to give you. Hook on the front, so you don't get hit in front either.
You
don't know how to run
in red.
You don't know how to run against the opposite of the traffic. See, you run with the traffic.
Absolutely, that'll
so
be
you'll
very
be
helpful.
Covered. Right.
Be very helpful. Thank you.
Or you can set it. It just spins like this. It doesn't work. I know, folks. I got to work with him every day too.
Zunino pops it up.
That's high enough. That'll get under that. If it stays in,
is going to have a play. Nice job. So Zunino, who was the 3rd pick of the 2012 draft, goes back to the dugout. Talking about all those high picks they had. 2011, they had the 2nd overall pick, Danny Holtzen. In 2009, 2nd overall pick, Dustin Ackley. Ackley's no longer with them. Logan Morrison, also when he was coming up, former Mariner, was one of the top prospects in the game. He's working off the bench now. Part-time duty for Seattle. Inside. Dustin Ackley, George, I don't know if you could have a better college career than that kid had when he was in North Carolina. He had over 400 in his career in the ACC. That's off of Paulson to DJ, back to Paulson. He had over 500 in his College World Series career. He was there all the time. 8-4 Seattle. Rockies, the day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. The promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. A couple changes to tell you about for the Seattle Mariners. It begins on the mound. Tom Wilhelmsen will be on for the 31st time. And at first base, Jesus Montero out, Logan Morrison in. known. Tom Wilhelmsen, if you've never heard the story, this is one of the more incredible stories in Major League Baseball. George, he was a 2002 7th-round pick of the Milwaukee Brewers. And then he was out of organized baseball between 2004 and 2008. That's 5 years. Five seasons right. He wasn't playing.
Right.
Arm felt good. The Mariners, he had a tryout. They signed him as a minor league free agent in 2010. And now he ranks 8th in Mariners history coming into the year with 54 saves out of Tucson High School in Tucson, Arizona. Never give up, right?
Yeah, never give up. Decide to go back after him. Why would you? It's a great game to play. Hackford's warming up down in the bullpen for the Rockies. One of those other areas. Walt talking about backing it off a little bit for him, getting back in a group. And you got a ground ball out from Nick Hunt.
Got a tweet and a question. George, what team did you make your big league debut against, and what advice do you have for John Gray tomorrow?
Well, it was against the Montreal Expos, and I would have to say that what I told John Gray today, just go be yourself, have fun, and enjoy the moment. You try to be somebody that you're not. Don't try to be what the media wants you to be. 100-mile-an-hour flamethrower, because that's not you. It's you just go out and pitch like you have been and hope everything rolls your way for you. And it's unfair to young players that because he threw 100 miles an hour. That was 3 or 4 years ago. It's unfair that Felix Hernandez, if I'd advertised coming into yesterday's ball game, hey, he throws 99 miles an hour. Turn on TV, he throws 93. It's what they are now. And I think John's become more of a pitcher than what he was in college. Looking forward to it. Dougie, you're looking forward to it. Drew's looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
We all are.
Yeah. 1-2 on Parker, 2-2 on Kyle. 2 strikeouts sandwiched by a base hit in the 4th inning for Kyle. Here's something, if Eddie Butler, I'm sure he was looking on. This ball lined to right pretty deep, but it's caught out there by Cruz. When he was watching Felix Hernandez, Felix threw 111 pitches, 80 for strikes.
That's how you win games. Throw strikes, pound the zone.
Daniel Descalso will be pinch hitting here with 2 outs.
Sounds easy to do, but sometimes it's just not so easy to do. You feel the pressure trying to be perfect, trying to pitch, trying to win. You want to be the guy too bad sometimes.
Daniel takes ball 1. One on Daniel. Fastball is a little bit down at 96. Yeah, I mean, if you roll into a tryout, George, and you're throwing 96, you're probably going to get signed
somewhere. Somebody's going to give you a chance.
They won't even ask for your birth certificate.
But he had to get in shape to do it too. That's the other side of it. Daniel didn't like that strike call on the knees and down.
Two outside. This ball lined to right, a base hit for Descalso.
And by the way, the other night Don't know if y'all have noticed, of course I spend a lot of time reading it, but Jeremy Barfield, Jesse's son, is signed with Albuquerque. He's playing. He's one for one tonight, hitting 300.
He's a pitcher, George.
No, he's a hitter, but they pitched him the other day. He thought about trying to become a pitcher a year ago with Oakland because he's always had a really strong arm, left-handed. Got released, signed with the Independent League, went out, played in the Independent League, got signed by the Rockies, needed due to injuries and movement. They signed him, but he got a hold the other night. 2 innings, 4 strikeouts. He walked 1 batter.
How about that? Wasn't that neat?
Yeah, came out of the bullpen, pitched well. Trevor Story 0 for 2 tonight, hit 263. Christian Adames is 293. Willeen Rosario a mild 442. Matt McBride off the DL hit 340.
This ball bounced toward the hole. Charlie's got a 4-hit ball game. This Calso will go first to third. Blackman just keeps on hitting. He's closing in on 300.
I'd be smiling too, Charlie. Hopper got through the infield, into the outfield. Blackman's average 299. It started the day at 292. Excuse me, 293. He's bumped at 7 in this game. Now Reyes is going to get after it. They're trying to get a left-hander going in their bullpen in a hurry. Looks like Rasmussen is the lefty warming up.
Reyes takes a strike. June 3rd against the Dodgers, Charlie had a 4-hit game, 2nd of the year. Bottom of the 8th inning, 2 outs, 2 on for Reyes. Rockies trailing by 4. You mentioned the minor leagues really quickly. How about the Rockies organizational debut of Jesus Tinoco yesterday?
Nice job. 7 innings, 4 hits. He struck out 7. Didn't walk a batter.
6 innings. There's the work of Tinoco. Would make an impression. 6'4", 190-pounder out of Venezuela. Part of that Tulowitzki deal as well. And Wilhelmsen strikes out Reyes with 2 aboard to end the 8th inning. Mariners out in front as we go to the 9th inning by 4 runs.
Top of the 9th, getting ready for the Toyota post-game show coming up right after baseball. This game really fell apart in the first.
Fell apart in the first, and one pivotal at bat. Seth Smith, he had a 1-2, works a walk, and then leads to what, Jenny?
2 out runs. We hate 2 out runs.
Hate that.
And you scored some runs against King Felix. I mean, he bent, but he really didn't break all night long.
Yeah, we'll talk about it all coming up on the Toyota post-game show. For now, we'll send it back to Drew and George.
Jenny, thank you. The Rockies down by 4. John Axford in the 9th inning. We'll take the baseball.
But trying to get things squared up a little bit. We all know that. 36 game for him to appear in. 31 strikeouts. A little bit of a rut here, trying to get out of it. He gets some outs, has some quick, easy innings. It started the other day in St. Louis. Had a scoreless streak, or scoreless inning happen. So now you try to do that again and back it up right now. You can easily run some good together. Makes you forget the bad rather quickly.
Cornerbacks, pitchers, got to have a short memory.
Better have. You're going to pitch in at the big league level or pitch professionally. You better have a short memory. A lot more opportunities fail than there is to be successful.
Ketel Marte is going to lead things off. He's at the. Actually, you know what? It's not Marte. It's the veteran Austin Jackson.
Jackson will probably go in and play center field.
So Austin Jackson, the former Tiger. Ball one on Jackson. That's 2-0. That's been the problem for Axford. He's gotten himself behind hitters too frequently of late. Jackson was a trade deadline acquisition a year ago by Seattle. And it's 3-0. Hit 273 in Detroit last year, but just 229 after the trade with Seattle. Dallas area young man. Denton, Texas, north of Dallas. He was a highly decorated youth player. Baseball America voted him when he was 12 years old the best 12-year-old player in the country. 3 years later, I mean, I know that's crazy. Isn't that crazy?
Well,
we looked at all of them, and you're the best. When he was,
come on.
When he was
stop it. What page did you read that in the media guide? Stop.
When he was 15, he was voted again the best 15-year-old player in the country.
Well, what happened at 13 and 14? Was he slacking a little bit or what?
He's awful. Just awful. 3-2 again on Austin Jackson on the ground to short. Jose Reyes has it. And Reyes throws out Jackson. Kyle Seager will be next. Who Wants Tacos? Fans follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special, and the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Seager's had a big ball game, double, home run. He's also walked. He's scored 3 runs this evening. Hello there.
She knows you're looking at her, Drew. See? She knows you're looking right at her. She knows. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Mariners, George, in the second longest playoff drought in baseball to the Toronto Blue Jays.
Go back to when Lou was there, Pinella.
go
He
back.
was managing. Is that how far you got to go back?
You got to go back to that 116 win season.
They got in the playoffs that year. I thought that was long after 1993.
It's 2001.
Yeah, 2001.
That was the most incredible year, following it from afar. I mean, they basically won every day.
Yes.
116 wins.
Toronto 1993. That was the last year they had. Well, that's just luck.
Seager's third hit. So Nelson Cruz, 2 for 3 and a walk, will come up. 1 out, 1 on. One strike to count on Nelson Cruz. 8-4 Seattle. They jumped out to a 4-0 lead in the first. 6-0, excuse me, 6-1 after 2. 7-1 after 3. Did the Rockies credit. They've done their best to try to get back into this ball game. 4 runs on 13 hits. Most of that against Felix Hernandez. And that's a base hit. Seager will go first to third. Cruz trying to dig for second. He's out. Good throw out there from Blackman to cut down Nelson Cruz, trying to stretch that single into a double.
Yeah, a lot of times you feel like a base runner that if they're going to third, he's going to come up firing and go straight to third. Charlie just recognized when he turned, he shot a bullet into DJ, and it was like, come here, my man, I got something for you. Got there well ahead of Cruz, and then it's a matter of just kind of hunt him down to make sure you get that tag put on him before that foot hits the bag, and he did that.
Cano's 2 for 4, couple RBIs. Charlie's now tied with Starling Marte of the Pirates and Matt Kemp of the Padres for the lead in outfield assists in the National League. They all have 9. So important if you're playing at Coors Field to have 3 outfielders that can run and 3 outfielders that have plus arms. And the Rockies typically employ 3 guys in their lineup out there that all can run and all can throw. On the swing, according to Jerry Davis, 1-1. Robinson Cano, before calling timeout, wanted to know, was that on a foul tip or was that on a swing? And Jerry didn't indicate foul tip. I think he said he swung. So it's a ball and a strike. Cano was lured to the West Coast from the Bronx with a 10-year deal. Take him into his 40s. 1-2.
Hey, we would have gone with it. Offered me a 10-year deal for that. I'll see ya.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Have a nice time. Hope you all enjoy it there.
10 years, $240 million. Let's not leave that out. That'll get you packing your bags, right?
He's not the first. Won't be the last.
No. 1-2 from Axford. And he gets a strikeout at Cano. So that'll end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. The Rockies with work to do, trailing 8-4. Time for our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Mariners with 2 outs tonight. They are 7 for 13. And all 8 runs have come with 2 outs. Nelson Cruz had a big ball game. He's on quite a run, Nelson Cruz. Home run in 4 straight games. You get the picture. So here in the 9th inning, Austin Jackson's now in center field. Tom Wilhelmsen remains on the hill. Nolan Arenado 0 for 3 and a walk tonight for Nolan. And he's got a hit now. Good start to the inning. Bring up Cargo, but he's not going to see Wilhelmsen. Lloyd McClendon bounding up the steps of the dugout, wants a left-hander. He's got 3 to choose from. Bimel's already been used. Got Rollins and Rasmussen down there. It's going to be Rasmussen. So we'll step aside. 1 out in the bottom, or excuse me, 1 on at the bottom of the 9th inning. Rockies down by 4.
Nolan Arenado. Cargo's coming up, and he's going to face a guy making his Seattle debut, Rob Rasmussen. He came on the 31st in a trade with Toronto. Rasmussen made only one appearance with the Blue Jays this year.
Hard throwing left-hander. See what left-handers have done. Not a whole lot.
Cargo did a whole lot of studying while he threw his 8 warm-up pitches on the mound.
I ain't seen guys like this. It's tough.
And a slider for a strike. Rasmussen, a product of UCLA.
Big hard slider there. Man.
Oh, 2. Cargo 1 for 3. Single back in the 3rd. He was hit by a pitch in the 7th inning. Set up off the plate. And a line shot, base hit. Into that slider one time too many. And now the Rockies have the first 2 on.
And kind of one thing you start to learn a little bit at the big league level. You can't go make those same mistakes over and over again. By the way, Rasmussen had thrown 42 innings in the International League. He had given up 26 hits, struck out 40, walked 21. But here's the ball out over the middle of the plate. Cargo, such great plate coverage. He got his one look. He'll be done after Cargo. They'll go down to the bullpen now, bringing in a right-hander. Yeah, the right-handed close.
Trying to put something together here and make it very interesting. And the Rockies are going to see the closer, the newly appointed closer, Carson Smith.
He does throw hard. 1-5 record, though. 47th appearance for him. A little bit of an awkward arm action coming out of the backside. 279 earned run average. 9 out of 11 saves. 42 innings, 55 strikeouts. And this is the perfect example. If you looked at his arm action and delivery, you go, no. But then you look and see the results. He pounds the zone, just 13 walks.
Well, he kicked his last save opportunity in Minnesota. Could protect a 2-1 lead. Fernando Rodney lost the closer's job. He's now pitching more in the 7th inning on the plus side. And a strike on DJ LeMahieu. And Lloyd McClendon, after he blew the save, said obviously you're not happy
when a guy blows a save, he said, but this is part of the process for a young closer. These are the lessons that can only be learned at the big league level. How you deal with it, how you come back the next time you're given that opportunity. Well, some of the things we'll talk about tomorrow, George, with the debut of John Gray. There are certain things that can only be learned at this level.
Still got to make pitches. I don't care where you are, and you got to make pitches when it counts.
1-1. DJ takes 2-1.
95-mile-an-hour heater, hard sliders. He's Brad. He normally doesn't walk a lot of people. Here he is 2-0 on DJ.
Well, that's what happened to him when he gave up the lead against Minnesota. He started overthrowing stuff.
Well, you start trying too hard. Try to make it better than what you need to.
DJ 0 for 4, 4 punch outs, amazingly. If that pitch misses, it's 3-1. Tying run potentially, if DJ can reach, would come to the plate. Ben Paulson.
Well, a lot of things that happen when you work the first base side of the rubber. If you get offline at all, your pitches are going to get offline, and he works the first base side. So if you yank the head or you yank your front side a little bit left, the trail arm's going to follow and out of the zone.
Ball strike, 3-2. This kid didn't allow a run the first 20 games of his career.
Going inside.
3-2. Slider. And LeMahieu, for the 5th time in the game, strikes out. Unbelievable. Just tells you how tough this game is. DJ came in hitting .326, but he's seen some nasty stuff tonight. That slider couldn't have been placed any better.
You're right about that.
Reminds me of a famous baseball line. There are 2 kinds of baseball players, those that have been humbled and those that are about to be.
It's a humbling game. You play 162 games, you're going to get beat a few nights.
Paulson drives one to deep left center field, and it's going to short hop the wall. Smith will grab it. 1 run is scored. Here comes Cargo. He'll score, and it's a 2-run game. Ben Paulson. He hit it over the head of Mr. Late Night. Ben Paulson's becoming the 2015 version of that of late. Boy, he has produced some big hits in the clutch.
Finally getting a chance at the major league level on a daily basis to face some pretty tough hitters. And he's showing great results on the Subaru super low fastball down and away. And he drives it. Smith playing deep into the ball game. No doubles deep. It still ended up a double. Arenado scores. And Gonzalez doesn't even draw the throw.
So the tying run at the plate in the very capable Nick Hundley. He's 2 for 4 tonight. Fouled off. How fitting would this be if the Rockies could find a way in a week in which they saw 3 times their opponent walk off. It began in Chicago, that most difficult 9-8 loss. Happened a couple times in St. Louis. It happened yesterday, a 3-2 loss in the 9th inning. That's a strike. It's 0-2. 3 of the 5 losses on that road trip of the walk-off variety. Rockies, on a night in which Felix Hernandez started, they have 6 runs on 16 hits. Lloyd McClendon, he's familiar with baseball at altitude. Outside 1 and 2. Played here. Managed a bunch of games here. Kyle Parker on deck.
You mentioned the 5 strikeouts by DJ. How rare is that by a Rocky ever? Cargo did it in 2014, and Roberto Mejia in 1993. That's how rare it is. Not the first, not the last either.
No, he's about the last guy you'd think could produce a night like that. Again, it just shows you how difficult this game is and how humbling it can be. Hard to have a better year than DJ LeMahieu's had. So Lloyd's going to come out. He's not pulling the kid. He just wants to converse with his battery.
I like what Jerry Davis is doing here too as a home plate umpire. You know, the speed of play thing where they want to, umpires typically are meeting the pitching coach when he gets to the mound. Jerry knew that manager had a message to that young reliever. And I'm going to let him make it. I know he's not going to be out there very long.
That was close, 2-2.
See if he did go around. I didn't think he did. Thought he locked up. Yeah, well, I don't know. Glad they called it the way they did.
Ground ball through the vacant right side. Paul's hit around third. He'll score. It's a one-run game. Nick Huntley coming through.
Well, he just fought off a pretty good fastball after the check swing was not called a strike. He just won it right through the right side of the infield. Easily scoring Paulson. But you watch the body language of a young closer, too. You want to make sure they're staying focused. They know what their job is. They're trying to ambush that good hard slider. Parker was, and he got it down and away. Pinch runner now. Barnes will come on to run for Nick Huntley. Not a bad move because with one out, you stay out of the double play. Second move, McHenry's going to hit next.
Line drive, base hit to right for Parker. Going first to third is Barnes. Tying run 90 feet away. Still only one out. Mike McHenry coming up.
One slider swing and miss. This slider he didn't. Off the end of the bat, and it's pure strength on Parker's part to get that ball into the outfield. But because of the pinch running of Barnes, you end up now first and third.
Last man, position player-wise on the Rockies bench. Pinch hitting, Mike McHenry. 8-7 ball game. Rockies began the inning down by 4 runs. Rockies have hit the magic number. The real magic number they want to hit is 9. But folks, make sure you go to your participating Taco Bell location tomorrow. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Michael McHenry tried to win it with one swing. Here's the 0-1 from Smith. And that was a dirty slider. It's 0-2. The offensive player of the game for the Rockies is on deck. Charlie Blackmon is 4 for 5, including 2 doubles. Rodney is now up in that Seattle pen. up 1-2. And they check with Will Little. It's all because of these guys. They got the rally caps going early.
They got everything on. They even talked me into putting mine on in the booth. You got to do it. Why not? You didn't know they'd come in the booth, did you?
And Smith strikes out McHenry. Away with sliders. And they're 2 outs. It'll be left to Charlie Blackmon.
Nasty slider. He got 3 in a row. They never gave McHenry the fastball. Of course, Lloyd McClendon very familiar with McHenry because he was in Pittsburgh when he was there.
So Blackmon, double, single, reached on a fielder's choice, RBI double, and a single to left. Second 4-hit ball game of the year for Charlie. He wants a 5-hit game. Barnes at third. Any sort of dirt ball, he'll be coming. On the outside corner with a slider. Now he's throwing it to both sides of the plate. That's not easy to do.
No, not particularly with his delivery.
Always worry, I would think, George, about hanging it when you try to go to that backdoor slider. Here's the 0-1. Back to it. It's 1-1.
Cano, slight pull into the hole. Miller straight up. Seager still off the line at third. Charlie's burning once down the line. On a fastball away.
Winning run at first and Parker. And it's hit to center field. Austin Jackson's out there, and the Rockies are going to come up a run short. They put a scare in the Mariners in the 9th, scoring 3 times, but couldn't get that one last key hit, and the Mariners survived. That is the best way to describe it. 8-7 tonight in the opening game of a 3-game set. Felix Hernandez gets the victory. He's now 13-6. Eddie Butler takes the loss. He's 3-8. And Carson Smith does get a save, his 10th of the year. 8-7 the final. Time to go to center field and our Twitter post-game show. Here's Jen.
Thanks, Drew. Despite the 5 hits and the runs in the 9th, Rockies couldn't get it done.
No, well, it always comes down to 8 2 out.